Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with me. So I'm gonna do another bird, a bird today instead of a regular cityscape or a landscape. So the birds usually it's a hit or miss for me. Sometimes it comes out alright, sometimes it doesn't come out alright. But the only way to know if it's gonna be alright is by give it a try. So in terms of preparation, I've got a quarter sheet, but the bird's going to fit into an A4 size. So usually I mask it. I'm going to do one and then another one on the side. I got a John Pike. Oh, this is a Saunders rough cold press. I got a John Pike palette. I like these big wells because most of the brushes I use if I'm doing a bigger painting, um, it's easy to dip in than tinkering into smaller wells. Uh, if you want to know what colors and the brushes I use, scroll down to the last of the page. So I got a range of brushes. If you can pause it and have a look. So I've got a selection of flats, calligraphy, mops, and synthetic. You can scroll down to the end, and then you can see I'll put a couple of slides where all my brushes and also my pigments. So uh, anything to do with drawing, you want to make sure you're compositing or putting the volumes right first before you add details. So I'm going to go very light. So I'm just trying to put in some rough detail. So roughly that's the bird, and okay, and they're sitting on a piece of, okay. So that roughly gives you the shape and the position. If you're happy, then I'm going to start adding more details to it. So details, I'm going to switch to slightly smaller. So the beak, okay. So as I said, especially if it's the landscape or the cityscape, I don't care too much about the drawing because I know I'm confident I can adjust it while I'm painting. But when it comes to an anatomy or a bird or a, you want to pay attention to make sure the drawing looks good before you do anything else. So at the same level, there's an eye. Somewhat diamond shape, slightly bigger, beautiful orange. Okay, and I'm just adding the shape. Defining, readjusting it as and when it's needed till I'm happy that it looks what it's supposed to look like. So okay, and something, and we're looking at the leg. Skinny but extremely look at the nails, it's got a long. Okay, so there's a bit of a piece of rotten wood. I'm going to put the picture of the bird obviously for reference. And so okay, so I'll clean and fix this line so that I can see what I'm doing. So clean. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm happy with the proportions. And now we can continue with the painting. So this one has a lot more purple, Persian blue. I'm going to go ahead. It's always handy to have a little bit of a rough paper if you are new, just to get some colors. I generally do it on the background to get the colors. Okay, so I'm gonna go blue, give an underlying coat. Paying obviously attention not to okay, there's a lot more purple. There's a lot more gray in that area. Okay, and I continue with the Persian blue. Let's see, hint of green. And back to Persian blue. A little lighter. Always have a little bit of tissue to control the water. And I'm going to mix a little more ultramarine blue. A little lighter. Okay. So easy so far. So we're just playing around. I'm going to add a little more black. The areas I know needs to be black while it's still a little wet. And so I'm using a lot more pigment, making sure the colors. Okay. Okay, so while that is drying, I'm gonna work on the branch, undertone color, a little bit of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt sienna, okay. Okay, that one works fine. For the legs, a little bit of gray as an undertone. So what you're looking is to make it 2D to 3D. So you're slowly building the layers. Okay. I don't want to touch the orange. There's the orange breast, but I just want to make sure that it's completely dry before I do it. The orange needs to be clean, so I'm going to finish all the body, or I'm going to dry it before I attempt to get to the stage. Now is a good time to just dry a little bit. That's a good time to dry. Also a good time to check if my video is running. In the past I've been talking on my own and there's no video, so but anything to do with like a detailed anatomy, you usually stick with synthetic brush because it has better control, obviously, and you're slowly. Okay, a little more water. So let's come into the beak. Okay, and the top edge. I can see a little bit of top edge. And okay, I'm just gonna dilute it and then, oop, that's a bit too much. Always have a little bit of tissue handy. And that's all I need to do is to break that edge, make it a softer edge. And the nose. Okay, now we can commit to a little bit of orange. So clean the brush. I don't want it to be diluted. Lemon yellow and pyrrole red. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the eyes first. Let it dry while I come back a little more yellow over here. A little more darker. As it progresses, then I see a little bit of sienna. A lot more. Okay, and also I think as it's drying, just ends over here. A little bit of gray. A little more darker, and almost. Complete. So I'm happy with it, but also what I'm not happy, if you don't, I don't know whether you can see, the water for the eye is a bit runny. I'm going to just try to take a little more of that water. Okay, that's fine. Now let's finish the leg. The leg is dry enough now. So obviously the back leg is a little more darker. And it gets a little lighter in the front. So slowly building the knots. The gray. That's about it. It's a little more gray. Okay, so that one is fine. A little more details on the wood trunk. Not crazy, but just enough so that it's a little bit of splattering on the wood. Okay, so that completes that one. I'm going to start working on the feather slowly now. So the feather, black and purple, the most obvious, and that range. So I'm going to say one there, Okay. And the green. And so a little purple, shimmy, shimmy, and so I'm just using the tip of the brush just to get that rough edge, and a lot darker here. So little detail. And purple speck around the neck. So let's see how I'm going to do. So okay. Okay, so that's where I am at the moment, and we're almost trying to finish it. Let's get to the eyes. I think it is dry, but let's add a little. If I can find my smallest brush. So a little bit of water, just making the edge. Okay, and the beak needs a little more gray. Okay, I think I'm all right. A little more, few more feathers, and a little more color. So I'm just taking a little white, Persian blue, so I'm just coming around, adding that iridescence. Okay, so a little on this side. And that's about, there's a little more here, top of the nose, and so in between a little bit. Now I don't know whether you can see the details, but I'm just trying to add a little more details. That just makes, so I need a little more white, Persian blue, a little bit of water, I'm not trying to overdo it, but you need a little more of that color. So I think that's enough. So same thing, I'm gonna just do a little bit of white. Make sure the brush is clean. And I'm gonna add a little bit of white and some orange. And add a little more rough feathers. Over here, a little bit. Okay. The last but not least, give a little bit of twinkle in the eye. So I'm just dipping directly from the brush, adding a little bit of shadow, a little on the nose, and also on the beak. The leg looks a little weak. I'm gonna just make it a little darker. Okay, let's do the legs a little more darker. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's sufficient. That's a Starling. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. If you are new to my channel, subscribe, hit like. It makes a big difference. Till next time, bye and keep watercoloring.